Hey guys, let's get more news from Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Video shows Miami Heat's Jaime Jaquez had Shaq-like dunk skills at young age. It appears Miami Heat rookie Jaime Jaquez was prepared for participating in the NBA Slam Dunk Contest years ago. An old video of him apparently resurfaced this week of him displaying his dunking skills at a young age. Jaquez was no older than a toddler in the short clip. The video starts with a tiny Jaquez saying he is dunking. When asked like who, he responds, like Shaq. Jaquez then climbs on a chair before ultimately dunking the ball. The slam caused the entire hoop to fall. He is competing in the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest along with star Jaylen Brown, Boston Celtics, defending champion Mac McClung, Osceola Magic, and forward Jacob Toppin, New York Knicks. Jaquez unveiled a piece of his plan to victory on Podcast P with Paul George. "I think I got one dunk that you guys are gonna be surprised to see," Jaquez said. "We got a lot of work behind the scenes being put into the creativity of all this." Jaquez, who played 4 years at UCLA, is the first Heat player in the event since Derrick Jones Jr. won the competition in 2020. Shandell Richardson covers the Miami Heat for Inside the Heat, a Fan Nation channel for Sports Illustrated. He has covered the NBA since 2010. Report: People around NBA believe Nikola Jovic could be surprise weapon for Miami Heat in playoffs. He has evidently shown enough to convince some people around the NBA that he could get minutes as a surprise weapon in the playoffs. Some around the league believe Jovic could garner more minutes down the stretch run and maybe even as a surprise weapon in the playoffs, wrote Sean Devaney of Heavy Sports. Jovic has only appeared in 22 games, but 14 of those appearances have been starts. He's had some big performances, including a recent 24-point showing against the Milwaukee Bucks. Overall this season, he's averaging 6.0 points, 4.2 rebounds, and 1.9 assists per game while shooting 43% from the field and 45.5% from beyond the arc. He's averaging 16.5 minutes per contest. A couple of executives around the NBA made some very interesting comments to Heavy Sports about Jovic. "It is not like teams put out a list and say, okay, here's who is untouchable and here is touchable," an Eastern Conference executive said. "That's not how it works." But anyone who asked about Jovic, it was a pretty firm no. They have never been looking to move him. He has been a near touchable, at least. They could change their roster going forward, but what you've got to understand is, if they do, they're going to change with him moving up in the rotation, not him moving out, a Western Conference executive said. Ask around, anyone who has asked about including Nikola Jovic in any kind of deals, there's never been any real talk involving him. "I don't know when. I am sure the kid would like to know when, his people want to know when. But eventually, he is going to be a starter for them and a good one." It certainly sounds like the Heat may have a long-term piece in Jovic despite the fact that he's frequently involved in trade buzz. After all, Miami spent a first-round pick on him for a reason, and the team is likely still getting a feel for what he brings to the table. Jovic has appeared in just 37 regular season games in his NBA career. If he were to emerge as a surprise weapon in the playoffs, the Heat would likely be thrilled. The organization sometimes gets contributions from unlikely heroes during its playoff runs, and Jovic could become the next one. He did get into 7 playoff games last season, but his playing time was so limited that he's likely still unaware of how the postseason can be a different animal. Perhaps that won't be the case for much longer. The Heat are 30-25 this season and currently hold the number 7 spot in the Eastern Conference. They'll look to move up in the standings after the All-Star break in hopes of avoiding the play-in tournament. Site indicates trade scenarios for Trae Young in the NBA. After the trade deadline, Trae Young's name continues to be the subject of trade rumors in the NBA. After leading the Atlanta Hawks' run to the 2020-21 Eastern Conference Final, the star has accumulated frustrations, especially in the current season in which he is not doing well. This year, after all, there are only 24 wins in 55 games and 10th place in the table. So, the website Fadeaway World proposed 5 possible deals for the franchise's number 11. Still, it's fair to say that the point guard's production, especially on offense, has been ongoing. That's because he averages 27 points, 10.9 assists, 2.8 rebounds, and 1.4 steals in 2023-24. After not being selected for the All-Star game at first, Young will play in the festive game next Sunday, 18, after the absence of the chosen ones Joel Embiid and Julius Randle. The team did not make any moves at the trade deadline, after several rumors involving names such as, for example, DeJounte Murray, Clint Capella and DeAndre Hunter. But the latest rumors say that another frustrating end to the current campaign could lead to Trae Young asking for a trade, forcing the Hawks to rebuild in the NBA. So, without further ado, let's see the exchanges that the portal thought up for the star. Could Young be the star that Miami finally gets? The team has failed to pull the trigger on big trades in recent years. So, it's fair to think the Heat would be in the running for Young if he becomes available. The team was also present in DeJounte Murray's rumors, however, to a lesser extent in relation to the Lakers. The team would give up Tyler Herro, who is Miami's big bargaining chip in every big deal speculated on in the franchise. Additionally, Duncan Robinson's big contract would be vital to equalizing salaries. Herro is a prospect for a fresh start from a young player. Finally, 2 first-round picks, just like Los Angeles's offer. The difference, however, is that we have a closer pick in 2024. However, there is also the side that this pick should be outside the lottery in a draft that, for many, is not as qualified. Another strong rumor that happened even before the biggest flow of trade deadline rumors. The Spurs would have Trae Young's name as a strong NBA trade target. The star would be a perfect partner for prodigy Victor Wembanyama. Nothing much has come of it since then, and an offer from Texas would involve making the team more competitive right after the first year of its new superstar's career. Young would be a relief for the construction of the game and scoring of the young team that is at the bottom of the NBA's Western Conference. The offer cited here would represent a deeper rebuild in Atlanta. There are 4 first-round picks, which includes a very attractive pick from the Toronto Raptors in 2024. After that, another 3 picks from the Spurs, every other year, as per NBA rules regarding draft picks and trades. Here, we would perhaps have the most bombastic exchange of all, moving not only Trae Young, but also LaMelo Ball. This would represent a change of scenery both for the young stars and for the franchises that have not achieved great success in recent years. After all, Charlotte didn't even make the playoffs under Ball, and the Hawks have won 3 postseason games in the last 2 years and may not even make the cut in 2023-24. The difference here is that LaMelo is younger than Young. The youngest of the Ball brothers is just 22 years old. Atlanta could be taking 1 step back to take 2 steps forward under new leadership. However, without any draft pick. As for the Hornets, Young would be a more established player with fewer injury problems in recent years to lead the team alongside Brandon Miller. Furthermore, this would be an aggressive move by a Hornets in need of change. They are the longest team without making the NBA playoffs right now. And you fan, what do you think of the Trae Young situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.